Hi again, welcome back. Attorney Steve Vondran here. We are talking in this video about AB 218. AB stands for Assembly Bill 218 in California. Okay, so this may be one of the most important videos that I've ever done. This video is intended for victims of sexual abuse, sexual assault in the state of California. So without further ado, let's head to the Attorney Steve Litigation Whiteboard, okay? So here we are. Basically, we are talking about child abuse, child molestation by institutions, people in positions of power and trust, okay? So a new law was passed by Gavin Newsome in California. This is called the California Child Victims Act. The California Child Victims Act. Now, there was always laws on the books about reporting claims of abuse and things like that. But the old law, as you can see here, I have SOL, that stands for Statute of Limitations. The old law allowed you to bring a suit within 3 years of the date of discovery. So if you're 14 years old, and by the way, child is under 18 in California, okay? Child is under 18. But within 3 years of the discovery of the abuse, which is, that's not much time because, see, a lot of people, when they're abused, they suppress their feelings or they're in denial. They don't want to admit it happened, or they're afraid to tell people. They're afraid that they won't be believed, those kinds of things. Okay, so you have a very limited time to bring it, or at the maximum within 8 years of your majority. So your minority is 18 plus 8 years, 26 years. So you had, now that's, some people may say, well, that's plenty of time. That's plenty of time till you're 26 years old. But see, a lot of people grow up and they suppress these feelings of hurt and shame, embarrassment, those kinds of things, hating themselves or blaming themselves. You know what I mean? So this is the old law. The new law says, no, let's up that to 5 years from the date of discovery, or a maximum of 40 years, okay? So 22 years from your age of minority of 18. So now, so if you're 40 years under the new law, if you're 40 years or younger and something happened to you when you were 18 years old or younger as a minor, then you are still within the statute of limitations, okay? So this is really important here, the statute of limitations. Now, why do we have a statute of limitations? The saying is to prevent stale claims. Memories fade, witnesses move across the country, some witnesses die, all kinds of things happen, okay? But this is why we have the statute of limitation. But this area of law where lives are ruined and shattered and wrecked, and this could go on generationally from this person to the next and their kids, this is just horrible, horrific conduct by people in power, in position of power and trust. So usually we have that statute of limitations to make sure that, we have witnesses around that we can actually prove our claims. Now, I'm going to jump over here real quick to the new law. This is something unique that you will not see. You will hardly ever see this. I don't know. I have never seen it as a lawyer, 15 years, civil litigation. I have never seen this, what they call a 3-year window of justice. 3-year window of justice. What's that? So they're saying basically this law is enacted. It goes into effect January 1st, 2020. So I want you to tell your friends about this. If you know somebody that's been victimized, this is a very, very important video. Feel free to share this video. This is a very important message that needs to get out, because basically, if you've been abused and you've been holding this up, bottling it up inside, bottling these things up inside, I'm not a doctor, but that doesn't do you any good. You got to let things go. You got to move on. And in some cases, as I say with my new website here, predator payback. It's time to call those out, those people out, those predators, and hold them accountable for their actions, okay? So they may still be in positions of power of trust. They may still be abusing people. You don't know, okay? So, but the new feature of this law is the 3-year window of justice. So maybe somebody that brought a claim down here, let's say maybe they didn't bring it within the old law 3 years or within 26, and their claim was rejected. Okay, maybe their claim was rejected, and the company that got away with this said, "Ha, we got him. We got him on the statute of limitations. All right, we got him." The new law gives a 3-year window from 1/1/20 to 23. You have 3 years for anyone to bring a claim, regardless of your age. There's no max. There's no 40 max. You could be 90 years old, 90 years old, and you could say, I was abused way back when I was 14 years old, and it's screwed me up ever since. I have eating disorders. I have physical ailments. I'm still seeing a psychologist. I'm on antidepressant drugs, opioids. Everything's got screwed up, okay? But any age, now this is amazing. So this opens up a whole floodgate litigation, think about how many people were injured and abused. And I'm going to go over some of the key offenders here and some key companies that that are probably going to be pulled into litigation here. Everyone's innocent till proven guilty, but I think you've heard of some of these. No statute of limitations, 3-year look back period. Folks, this is significant, okay? I have never seen that before in a law, okay? So if you have claims, if you've been screwed up by some act of sexual assault right here, this is you and the offender perpetrator. Here's their institution. Maybe they worked for an institution, probably. That's what you're usually looking for. But you have child sexual assault. Okay, so 3-year window. Tell your friends about this, because everybody probably knows somebody that was just abused, molested by somebody, okay? So this may be the time for the predator payback, okay? And I have more information on my website there if you want to drill down into some of these concepts. Child sexual assault. Okay, so first thing that this law did as well was expanded the definition of assault. And in fact, it used to be called child sexual abuse. They changed it to the word assault. Expanded the definition. They put a bunch of penal code definitions from other statutes in the California law. And by the way, this law amends the California Code of Civil Procedure and the government control regulation. So in other words, you can still sue the city and county agencies. There is no immunity. Okay, why? This is too important. This is too important for governmental immunities, okay? So it updates the government code, updates the Code of Civil Procedure, and it adds it incorporates all these new laws, Penal Code 285, 286, 288, 289, 311.4. This is basically dealing with actual or simulated acts of sexual conduct for minors under 18 when their parents are saying, hey, come on, go do that nude photo shoot. You're 16 years old, go do the nude photo shoot, okay? Trying to get there. The child stars come up in this a lot because you have the parents that are pushing. You have two things. You have parents that are pushing their kids at a young age to get into acting and modeling and do anything to make it, right? That mom says, do anything to make it. And I think some of you may be familiar with stories where people have to sleep their way to the top. Have you heard of that? Sleep your way to the top. So they've incorporated all these new sections and expanded the definition of what a sexual assault is. So it's more liberal in the claims that will be allowed. So you add that with your 3-year look back, and you're going to have a whole lot of claims being brought here, folks. A whole lot of claims being brought in the courts of California, okay? Now, who are some of the possible abusers? I think you guys have heard these, and I say possible, okay? These are just things that I think we've all heard of. Everybody's innocent until proven liable or guilty, but let's take a look. City and county agencies like these daycare agencies, they can be held liable. Anyone that's like dealing with kids, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting. Potential predators, what we call the at-fault institutions, clergy of the Catholic Church. I think we've all heard of these abuses where clergy would abuse different people in their ministry, and they would, first of all, deny it, cover it up, relocate the offender, those kinds of things, right? We know all about those lawsuits. Potential offender. Jehovah's Witness, another one that I hear. School officials and administrators, this is like your PE teacher, okay? Like, I don't want to go into my past. We had a creepy PE teacher, and he used to tell all the kids to, all right, everybody unrobe, everybody take your clothes off, and you just sit there and like stare at everybody. It was weird. But I was like, long time ago, these issues were not even on my radar, but I can almost venture to guess that teacher did something to somebody. I can almost venture to guess. So your school officials, your administrators, school districts will likely be sued in this, okay? School districts for not doing things. If you have red flags, you have noticed that somebody's doing something wrong, you got to do something. You can't just go, oh, okay, well, we'll put you on a 30-day leave. No, this may be triggering lawsuits now, okay? Boy Scouts, the Boy Scouts, everybody's heard this one. Everybody's heard the horror story. And there is some talk that there's going to be so many lawsuits against the Boy Scouts that they may have to go into Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So when you get into a bankruptcy court, the trustee says, hey, let me see all your assets. One figure I read said that Boy Scouts had like $1 billion in assets. Well, that could be sucked up pretty fast in these look-back lawsuits, okay? That can be sucked up fast. So they're going to probably be a big target. Sports organizations like Olympic training and different sporting organizations dealing with youth sports. Why? They're in contact with kids and you guys know who we're talking about, that creepy person where you always have that suspicion but no proof. I think we're going to be seeing some things coming out, okay? Parents and guardians and their so-called friends, or they want you to expose you to meet the uncle or meet the next door neighbor and become friendly with him, or meet the director. Oh, I'm good friends with the director. Just meet with him, okay? And then you're sexually abused, okay? It's horrible. Child actors, models, the entertainment industry, like I said, again, child actors, there's special protections for child actors, but to do anything to get the role, some people say, come in the casting couch, things like that. So these kinds of things, I think we're going to see the light of day on some of these things. Foster care agencies, another one. Okay, so really, and it's not limited to that. There's, anything that deals with kids or kids are around, this and that, camps, clubs, those kinds of things. I just think we're going to see a lot of lawsuits. And again, this is going to be a day of reckoning for the predator payback. And I have a couple final points that I want to make. Evidence. Obviously, this is a key. Everybody can say, well, this is what happened. But if it's red light, green light, I saw the red light. No, it was a green light. That may not be enough. You've got to get a preponderance of the evidence, 51%, as they say, okay? You have to show that the evidence tips in your favor. When I say evidence, it needs to be something like, I have a few things here. Witnesses. Do you have any witnesses to the event? Anybody that can say, I was there, I saw it, or she told me about this, or he said this, I told this to my buddy, and my buddy, he knows it. Testimony, your own testimony. What do I mean by that? Meaning you need to be credible, okay? So you need to be, I don't want to say sharp, but you need to come across as credible. You need kind of your facts in line, as they say. And you need to be, convincing, I would say, real. People know when somebody's telling the truth and not. And, a jury may hear this case and has to be able to convince them, by a preponderance of the evidence that it's true, that it really happened, So journals, if you kept any journals, some kids kept journals, would write in a book, memory book, wish book, whatever the case may be, journals, emails, anything, letters that you wrote to someone else, anything that can be used as evidence to corroborate your claim, because you really would like some corroboration. That's what I'll just put a big C for corroboration. Emails, photos, those kinds of things. Something tangible or solid. You may not always have the smoking gun, because let's face it, this may be, 20, 30 years later, 40 years. So anyway, I want you to think strongly about evidence. This is a big part of the claim. Damages, okay, you get your routine, all your special damages, everything else. But there is a special clause for treble damages for cover-ups. Now, this would be somebody that is a concerted effort to conceal or, to hide the crime, so to speak. Okay, so it's a natural instinct. What happened? We're going to lose this entire organization. We're worth $20 billion. Let's cover it up. Let's do this. Let's do that. Okay, if you can prove that up to 3 times your damages, what we call treble damages. Okay, it should be trouble because you're in big trouble, but treble is the word. Okay. Attorney fees, damages for damages sustained. And there's a lower standard, last point, lower standard for employer culpability. So if you had a person here and they're working for any of these organizations, and they failed to take action to prevent the abuse, which is broadly defined, right? Broadly defined. So if the institution fails to take steps to notice the red flags, do something about it, do those kinds of things, the standard is lower, so it makes it easier for a plaintiff to sue. Okay, so I think this is going to blow out a lot of litigation. Some potential claims against the potential at-fault institutions could be ignoring red flags, not properly training their employees, relocating offenders instead of actually doing something significant, denying it over and over and over again, coming out in the media, we categorically deny all this. This never happened. His claims are false. That kind of thing. Background checks, hiring people without background checks and things like that. So this is going to create a litigation hotbed. I can guarantee you that. But this is important. This is a time, if you're a victim, you feel like you have the evidence, you can fit these things in, this may be time to get your voice back, to get your courage back, to be a brave survivor and say, you know what, this put me down, this knocked me down, but today's the day I get back up. And that's January 1st, 2020. Folks, that's a few days away. That's just a few days away. So that's it. I hope that's helpful. Please get the word out. It's time. It's a day of reckoning here. It's a day of reckoning for predators. PredatorPayback.com for more information, okay? Thanks a lot for watching. This is general legal information only and not legal advice. It's not a substitute for legal advice. It's just to give you more than the average person's going to know, okay? That's what I do on this channel. Please give me comments, subscribe. This is what keeps our channel going. We're building. We're doing a great public service here. So there it is. If you need help with civil litigation, you know where to find us on the web at attorneysteve.com, the first name in the legal services. I got to run. Please have a great and safe New Year's. Have a great time. Get together your family and friends, your loved ones, and be good to people, okay? This is not being good to people, all right? So I got to run. Have a great day. Thank you all so much for watching. Attorney Steve out. Bye.